Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Pippi Peterson. By the way, you can help support the channel by purchasing a t-shirt or a paraphernalia item. This is my original design. For those of you who've watched the channel, you know it well. It's the Righty Row Let's Go t-shirts, inspired by Rio Rada and my first RV, my 1992 Bounder, Class A Bounder. And it was the design that I had originally done for the channel. I not only have the design back on the Teespring account, but now it comes in different colors, and you can even put on like a hoodie or a mug or anything like that now. So that's great. Plus there's an RV Living Life on the Road t-shirt. There's the Greyhound design, which the Greyhound designs, anything bought with those designs on it 100% goes to Greyhound adoption. And then I've also got the 100K Camping Club shirts. So a lot of different things you can buy to help out the channel, and I really appreciate it. So somebody asked me, a viewer, if I would do it all again, you know, maybe given what I know now, would I do it all again? And presumably he meant the RV living, but really that kind of goes into all of my previous choices in life, or, you know, since reaching adulthood. And looking back, there's a lot of things that I would change. Now, I don't want to say that I don't appreciate or value highly the experiences I've had and how all of that has shaped me as a person. So if I were to do things differently, I could easily be a completely different person. But there are a few big things that I would probably change if I were to kind of do adulthood again. And I think it would start with, you know, turning 18 or something right around there. I think I would probably do like a 4 years in the military. And then you get, you know, some of those benefits and even adventures, you know. I don't know much about military, so I know a lot of you do, so I can't speak too much to it, but I can say that if I did it again, I would probably spend 4 years of my life doing something along those lines just to kind of get established in the world, whereas what I did was go to college at that time. And I was also living abroad. I went to college for a part-time in Italy, and so I had a lot of international experience. The idea when I was 18 years old, I can't even remember now, but I know a general feeling I had that like 4 years was a crazy amount of time to commit or think about. But now, you know, as I get older, I see a 4-year time period is really, you know, flash in the pan in the long run. And, again, you know, that's with the knowledge of looking backward. So I think I would do, you know, 4 years in the military and then come back, and either, if I knew I wanted to do something, like if I learned, wow, you know, I was engineering bridges this whole time for 4 years, I might then immediately go to school. But if I didn't know what I wanted to do or didn't have some calling, I might work for a few years and travel and kind of do the whole goofing off thing, which I feel like I did anyway, in a really good way, because I lived in a lot of countries. I taught English abroad, and I worked abroad. I was a nanny. You know, I've lived in Spain. I've lived and gone to school in Spain. I've lived and gone to school in Italy multiple times, and I've taken classes in Germany, but I've lived in Germany and spent a lot of time traveling Europe, Western and Eastern. Spent multiple instances in China. I did maybe 5 or 6 months in Costa Rica. Actually, that was before college because I graduated high school early. So anyway, I did the whole, you know, kind of messing around, goofing off thing, while at the same time kind of accomplishing fun stuff that you need to have in life, you know, instead of waiting for later. But if I were to try to get a balance of that fun stuff, I would have done military, you know, developed probably some relationships with people that might last through your life, friendships or who knows what. A cousin of mine did that and got married, so you never know what's going to come of it. But maybe got that, then did working or goofing off for a couple years before I knew it, and then gone to college in my later 20s instead of kind of feeling like I had to go in my later teens, at 18. When you just don't have a grasp on life yet. What some people do, they're lucky. They're like, I'm going to be a doctor, and then they're a doctor. I feel like I probably had more fun than them anyway, but I would have delayed a long-term commitment such as college, because college isn't a long-term commitment, but what you do with it is, and it's a lot of money to put in for something that doesn't get you very far, in life. So, which I also experienced. So I would have probably waited, matured a little bit, and then gotten a degree in something that is the title of a job, like accountant, engineering, an engineer, something that's a little more stable. So I probably would have done that. And then I also would have done put money into 401k early on. But for me, when I was younger, I just couldn't foresee, I couldn't fathom long term, so because of that, I didn't get married. Why would I give up my independence for that? That's what I thought at the time. And why would I put money into a 401k? It's forever long. What if, something happens and then that money doesn't exist anymore? Or why would I go to work every single day for 40 years of my life? That was just beyond conceptualizing in my head. So, but as I get older, I look back and I'm like, I didn't have to see it that way. I could have done it for 5 years or 10 years. And even then, that was too long for me to think of. But then you can always change up careers. And then as far as RV living goes, really that kind of happened upon the fact that I'd come to a point in life where I didn't really have anything going on. I didn't have a promising career of anything, and even though I'd gone to college, I spoke all these languages, lived abroad, I still didn't want to, I just didn't want to go to work every day, and so I kind of got by doing this and that. And I got my RV because it was like a way to have my own home that I could renovate, which I really craved renovating. I had the flexibility to move from this town to that town if I got bored of it or found another opportunity elsewhere. And that's how it came up for me. And if I took a whole different path, my life would probably be in a different spot. But what I love about the RV living, no matter where you're at or what path you're on or where you went or where you're going, it's always a way to save money. It's a way to save money. It's a way to have a flexibility of where you live. It's a way to have as many dogs as you want. Of course, I only had one. Without the pet rent or all these different restrictions. So for me, it was freedom, it was ability to renovate, which I craved those projects, and no pet rent, and flexibility. And so I would say, yeah, and I still live in my fifth wheel. I love it. I love it. It's my beautiful home, and it's tiny and quaint, and it's nice. Long term, how do I feel about it long term? At some point, so the mobile lifestyle, the ability to be mobile is great for when you need to be mobile. And for long term, it's great. But if you're kind of staying in one spot, so I did a video you should check out about the different types of RV life, the different ways that you can go about it. And if you did stayed in one spot, had a regular job, had a regular life as if you lived in a house or an apartment, then it's still a great way to save money. But I think long term, I'd want some land, may even put my fifth wheel on land. And because I like to do projects, so if I stayed in my fifth wheel long term, I would have to have like some kind of garage, even if it's a garage with maybe even a room in it or a kitchen inside that. But at the same time, it might be nice to have, you know, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, you know, a little bit more space, maybe less of a garage or something. But for now, you know, unfortunately, I can look back at my life and see, this way would have done this, and maybe that would have happened or that would have happened. And where I'm at now, I have to, knowing that my current self can look back at my younger self, I can take that knowledge and be, okay, current self, look at your future and try to look back at what you would do. And I think the idea of, you know, real estate is an investment, and it's something that appreciates, right, with time. And anything on wheels is depreciating with time. And also the fifth wheel. Now, if I parked the fifth wheel on land and kind of stopped taking it on the road, it could decay on its own and maybe last longer. But if I kept taking it out on the road over and over, bringing it back, living in it, it would not just depreciate, but it might its vitality, its fidelity of structure and all that would begin to decay. So long term, you know, that's why houses exist. That's why they're made of brick and they have cement and made of wood and, you know, all that, because they'll last longer. So looking forward, for me, the RV lifestyle is something that is still saving me money. It's still giving me the flexibility to travel for the fun of it. But at this point, from what I've found, you know, after being on the road for so long and having had a lifestyle of a lot of travel, living in this country, moving back to the US and living in this state that I haven't been to, and I'm looking at stability and a place, a nest, you know, more with rosier eyes than I used to. So, but it's a way to save money and also keep the frisky feet going. You know, there's some people that just have that wanderlust spirit, and I do. But I'd like to have a base and then, you know, travel. So that's my experience. And would I do it again? So obviously, yes, I'm still living in my RV, and I will be until I, you know, kind of figure out the next steps in my life. And as much as I try to put my current self forward and look backward, doesn't always work that way. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.